we are having a new episode of our regular weekly Tuesday discussion where we talk about crypto markets in general. We give you some updates on what's happening in our company. And every once in a while we discuss non crypto, non finance, but most of the time we do. We have some key topics to discuss. We listed a new coin on Cake. So we're going to announce that, discuss that. We're going to talk about some other product updates around the vaults that are going to go live soon. Obviously, key topic for the day, and it's the main topic this entire week. Fed. We're going to discuss that. What are going to be the decisions the Fed is going to take tomorrow? Markets have been dipping over the past 24 hours. They're up over the week, like week over week, but they're down over the last 24 hours. We're going to discuss that a bit. Is this something to is this concerning? Is this not concerning? Does this mean we have a crash coming? I mean, last week we talked about when it may go away. Was this your signal that you should have gone away? We can discuss that. Obviously, we have earnings. Last week, tech earnings from most of the companies. This week, Apple. So we have a really big discussion point. First Republic got bought by JP Morgan. So I think we have a lot of topics. Quite interesting, quite exciting, a lot of stuff going on. And so, let's dive in. Fabio, how you doing? Give us a bit of some sentiment. Give us a bit of a sentiment check. What do you see in general? Let's dive in with a big picture, and then we go into the various topics.
Yeah, big week. 30-hour-ish until the Fed decision. I think the market is aligned for a 25 basis point increase. At least that's what the CME side is saying. I asked yesterday on my personal Twitter, I sent a poll and I asked, is this going to be the last hike that the Fed is going to make? And it was about 50-50, yes, no. So 50% of the people, at least from my following, they could foresee that there would be another hike along the way. I personally think it's going to be the last one. Just like it's insane to me, all these cracks that we are seeing. So let's just say we time travel to 1 year ago, and you would have told me Signature, Silicon Valley, First Republic, Credit Suisse, they're all going to blow up and they're going to take over by another bank or whatever. They need to be backstopped by the Fed. How is the market doing? And I would have told you S&P is down 50%. No questions asked. Like I would be pretty sure about my statement. If you would have told me 4 major banks are blowing up, how is the S&P doing? I would say min 50%. And it's not. We are down 80% this year, or 7%, somewhere around that. We are holding up pretty strong. Also, on top of that, the Fed is hiking like crazy. No end in sight. It's pretty weird to me what is going on. Like there were these charts of First Republic going around. It looks like Luna. It's like crazy. And this, like a lot of people in traditional markets, they make fun. Oh yeah, cryptocurrency, and you can have minus 90% corrections suddenly. Yeah, same in the stock market, I guess. It's pretty crazy. We see some cracks in the glass, but I think Jay Powell is going to hike anyways tomorrow. But I'm not sure. How are you assessing the situation right now?
I think 2.5 weeks ago, I was still on the side that no hike. However, the numbers were just way too strong, especially 2 weeks ago on all fronts. So I completely changed my mind on this. I'm going actually with the sheeple, and I'm betting on what the market is saying, which says 25 basis point hike. So I'm joining the group here, and I do think that's the most probable scenario. I had a conversation over the weekend with someone that I felt was a very interesting conversation. So I just want to share that conversation. Both him and myself, we don't believe that's the scenario, but actually it really paints a nice picture, Fabio, on what you had just said. So I think majority of participants are expecting this to be the last rate hike. So what he was suggesting was maybe the Fed is just throwing it's kind of throwing a bit of a U-turn here and doesn't rate hike now to kind of leave the door open that they can rate hike as much as they want going forward. So that was just again, none of us believe that, but it was just an interesting kind of scenario to kind of think through, because if the Fed doesn't rate hike now, right, everyone is going to sit there, and I think no one thinks that this could be the last kind of rate hike, especially if Jay Powell comes out and says, yeah, we want to watch the market right now. We're not rate hiking right now, but we're going to keep it open. Maybe we're going to do a rate hike in June, maybe in the July kind of meeting, right? So I thought this was an interesting scenario, right? Where he's going to create actually more uncertainty than certainty. And so I thought this was just really, really interesting. I don't know what your thoughts are on this, but to me, again, I just want to be very clear. I think Jay Powell is going to come out tomorrow and it's going to say 25 basis points could be the last one. So he may actually be insinuating it. We're seeing all the numbers going really well, but we want to do this last one. So to me, that's a bit of the kind of scenario. But I thought this was an interesting point that in that conversation I had over the weekend. On Sunday, we had a kids party here, and there were some two senior bankers like here in Singapore, parents of other kids, and we had this very interesting conversation around that. So just wanted to share that. I don't know what your thoughts are on this.
It must be like, I don't know why he took that job and why he hasn't resigned yet. It's there is no good outcome for this. Like, I seriously, if I would put myself in his shoes, and this is kind of also what I would bet on, is he wants to establish credibility. He compares himself to Walker. So he wants to be that guy that turns the ship around, that does everything that needs to be. He's like the Fed. If you go back 10 years ago, before Bernanke, the Fed wasn't actually that transparent. There were very little Fed meetings and very little transcripts. And kind of Bernanke, he kind of made that big. He made that a thing. The Fed that we are having right now is probably the most transparent Fed we ever had. Like, they over communicate everything. They are really laying out the game plan in front of us. And like, he wants to be credible. He wants to establish transparency and credibility, and he wants that people trust in what he has to say. But the market is actually not in any way. They really don't believe him. They really don't trust him. So, like, my best guess is what would be the best possible outcome for the Fed is holding the course, hiking tomorrow, holding the rates, and then waiting until something inside the system is blowing up, then pointing the finger at something that they had no influence in controlling it. This would probably be the best outcome for the Fed, for their perspective. Because then I said, hey, we did everything we could have done to circumvent inflation. And if you need to choose between two scenarios, and one scenario holds a break in the financial system, a collapse, or like a critical aspect of the whole financial system, and inflation, you're always gonna choose inflation. And that would be the bet that I'm going to make. And it's so hard to say when this is going to happen, when we see the real cracks. I mean, we already saw some major cracks. Like, we are talking, I think First Republic was like one of the top 20 banks, and Silicon Valley as well, Credit Suisse. These are big players. And so we already saw some cracks, but not systemic. Until now, it was not systemic. If there is a systemic event, they are going to print until their eyes bleed. And everybody, they will have full support, because nobody's going to question them. Oh, why are you printing out right now? But the hard thing there is, and I saw somebody making that point, and I would be very, very much interested in what you have to say about that, Julian, because everybody knows the Wall Street cheat sheet, where you are kind of saying, okay, where are we? And some people say, okay, we're in complacency. Some people say we're disbelief and whatnot. And this guy actually said, what if we haven't seen the top yet? That we are still like in very, very early on, and the bubble is, or the top of the bubble is still needs to happen. And it's so hard to pinpoint where we are in the market stages. Like, we could be anywhere. and people really feel very confident about, okay, we are in complacency, we're in disbelief, we are people are very, very confident in putting a specific place, and then the market is going to do something very different. Like I personally, I would say we're complacency, and there is some downsides during the summer. If you just look at S&P, or but you could make the point that we are in disbelief, or that we are still in the bullish phase to make the run up. And so many macro people that I currently follow, like Luke Gorman or Levish or Lynn Alden, or everybody that I follow and has been into the market since years, everybody says the same thing. This is the most difficult market that they ever saw, because there is no safe place right now. It's insane. If you, yeah, maybe you can. I'm from about you, Julie. Maybe you know where to hide.
I don't know. I mean, my hiding place for the last 1.5 years has been to just diversify. It's there's no better. Like I think that's the only free lunch you have at the moment. I think making aggressive bets is super dangerous. I don't know how many assets are actually up over the last 1.5 years. So very difficult to make any kind of bets there. Um, yeah, I agree. I saw this funny tweet, especially also about the debt ceiling. I mean, there's people like obviously trying to fearmonger a bit and saying the U.S. debt ceiling is going to be hit in on June 1st, which I think is a bit of an early kind of scenario. I think it's going to go right into Q3. But the funny thing that I saw there was doesn't matter if the Fed has issues or if the Treasury has issues. JP Morgan is going to bail them out. So I thought this was a funny tweet. Yeah, I mean, at the moment, yeah, it's like the good old days where JP Morgan is really bailing everyone out. Yeah, I don't know. To me, again, I don't expect much of a surprise tomorrow. I would be surprised if there were a surprise. And why do you think the market is down though? Why do you think crypto has been going down over the past 1 2 days? I mean, it's up over the last week, so 7 days it's up. But why do you think that is?
I couldn't pinpoint any specific major event. I'm not following the whole BUSD or stable situation as closely as you are. Maybe you have some insights there. But like for me, this wasn't a big move. Usually, like if there is really a big pump or a big dump, like 5% or 10% in a single candle, then I really tend to kind of look for a reason and read up on Twitter and really look in the news what could have caused this. I haven't done it this time because it wasn't a major move. I think we were down like 3% or so, or 3.5%. So I don't really know actually. Do you have some hints?
I mean, for me, the main thing that I've been watching, I think since beginning of March, I think I've been very vocal about it for the last 5 weeks. Let's say months and a half maybe. Is that entire Binance stablecoin topic? Um, I don't know. I tried to trade it just with like super small money, just so I could see if I can trade it or not. So I have this alert on the market cap dropping. It dropped again by 40 million over the last 24 hours, which it has been shown like under anything under 50 million is not big enough. So generally, like if the market cap drops by 100 million on BUSD, that's when there were a bit more significant upside moves afterwards. And if there weren't much on those 400 million, if there was less than 100 million in a week, it generally the market didn't do so well. So I don't know, very difficult for me to pinpoint to anything. I really have been struggling trading it. I mean, I didn't try to trade it for profits. I just tried to trade it for seeing if I could trade it or not, and I couldn't. Um, Very difficult for me to pinpoint. Could be that there's always a delayed effect. Could be maybe the U.S. government is selling those coins right now, right? And like what they said, and so this just creates a downward pressure, and then at some point, whoever is selling those BUSD and buying Bitcoin with it creates a pump every once in a while. So I don't know. I don't have a good answer. Could be that. I mean, also obviously suspicious is that it's right at the beginning of the month, so could be that there were some expirations end of April where people really wanted to have those 30,000 so they could get some like nice profits on there. So I mean, it could be a lot of factors. I don't know if I would give it too much right now. So I don't know what your thoughts are. I mean, to me, again, at least me, I didn't expect April to be a green month. It was another green month. I'm expecting May not to necessarily be the major green months. However, I also changed my mind a bit there. As long as this BUSD sell-off is continuing, and as long as this energy doesn't flow into whatever true USD or wherever it could go, I will have to admit that the market will probably go up, just because it's been so like billions of dollars have been pumped into Bitcoin with that. So yeah, so for me right now, that go away in May, I'm a bit cautious. As long as this BUSD sell off continues, yeah, that's just what I've seen. I don't know if there's anything else out there.
Uh, there aren't a lot of things that make me bullish at the moment. The major thing that I find a lot of confidence in is price agnostic buyers, shrimps, small addresses are stacking like crazy. Monthly DCAs and just the volume by small retail addresses. So addresses with one Bitcoin or more and one Bitcoin or less than one Bitcoin are constantly increasing and making all-time highs every day. And people that came into the market in 2020, 2021, 2022, they're consistently increasing their and DCAing their positions, which makes me super bullish. This is very important that you have this price agnostic buyers that are going to buy regardless at any price every month. But this is the only real bullish thing that I can see right now because of course, you never know if a big company or another government or some bigger event is coming. But we, at the moment, I see more dark clouds than sunshine. And usually, bear markets tend to be a lot longer than people remember. Usually, it takes almost 3 years from bottom to bottom or from top to top, or 3 to 4 years, and we are kind of halfway ish from that. So I'm not very hopeful for the summer. I wasn't very hopeful for the beginning of the year, and both of us actually, when we were very much wrong on that. Yeah, but it definitely makes me bullish that there are a lot of price agnostic buyers out there that are willing to buy at any price. And from a market perspective or from general markets, I guess it's very very hard to see what's happening next if there is more banks blowing up, if there is more cracks in the system. Um, yeah, but yeah, I'm more bearish than bullish at the moment, at least for the summer. Maybe not for the month of May, but definitely for the summer month until September or so.
I mean, I would 100% agree. Just like I would have agreed over the past 4 months. And the only reason I have to admit I was wrong was because I had no, like, I just didn't know about this aggressive sell-off of BUSD. And to me, that's the number one reason right now why the markets have been up over the past 4 months. And so if this BUSD sell-off continues, I believe prices are going to go up. If this BUSD sell-off stops, then the question is what happens with this energy that's in Bitcoin? Is this going to stay? Then I agree we may see a bit of a downward trend just because, like you said, I think the summer months, they're generally going to be a bit slower. If this energy is going to go out of Bitcoin, it's going to go into another stable coin or something, I mean, we may actually see some significant downside potential. It's, to me, very difficult right now to, yeah, it's really, and whoever controls this BUSD supply, I think it's Binance, but who knows, is going to be the market maker at these levels. So that's just my thoughts. What do you read into all these extremely strong tech earnings? Tech stocks are up crazily over the past week. Meta is up 14%, strong earnings. Alphabet, Amazon, Microsoft. I think Apple is reporting tomorrow. everyone is expecting better than expected number. Everyone is reporting better than expected numbers. What do you read into that, and if anything?
Um, they are higher than expected, most tech earnings, but I'm very cautious here because the valuations of most of these companies, maybe not Meta. Meta had a big correction, but if you look at Microsoft, Apple, Google, they're holding up extremely strong, and that's of course also because a lot of people that don't know what to buy, they just buy big tech, they just buy FANG. They're like in all major indexes, and um, I what I look at is especially when Microsoft and Amazon they run a lot of cloud business, and cloud business seems to kind of have peaked and is rolling over. So I'm expecting, we saw strong tech earnings this quarter. I'm not so sure if the next quarter is going to be similar. Like I would like this quarter is probably surprised a surprise to the bullish side. If we are not correcting our expectation for the next quarter, I think some people might be negatively surprised. But yeah, definitely, I wouldn't have expected that the earnings are so strong. I don't really know why. Maybe you have an idea here. That people seem still to spend a lot of money, but I'm not sure if the next quarter is going to be as strong.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of gave the same example many times where it's like if you have a patient who's really not doing well, and then suddenly there's like a little bit of an uptrend, then obviously you get excited. Okay, there's some improvement, but it's still not doing well, and I think that's key. I think that's important. Then obviously, I think a lot of the earning numbers are way better than expected just because of the layoffs. And I think this is what, and I actually think companies will continue. You look at Twitter. I mean, Twitter laid off what 80%, and the company just keeps working. I actually think a lot of companies could lay off probably 50%, and it just keeps working. Yeah, it may not have this kind of growth, but I think 50% layoffs or something. And right now, I think most of the tech companies are at 10 to 20%. So we could easily see more of that, especially if it gets worse. So, um, yeah, okay, just my thoughts. I don't know if you feel, if you want to add anything there.
No, not to tech earnings in specific. If we have some time, I would like to bring up an honorable mention, something I encountered this week and the last weekend that I'm kind of keeping an eye on. That is one of the things that excites me the
Sure.
most currently in the space. So lots of you guys might have heard of Nostr, which is actually pronounced Nostr. And it's a relay peer-to-peer version of a social media system. But the underlying tech, like the guy that kind of invented this, is called Ben Ark. You can follow him on Twitter; he's a great follow. And this guy, he did some kind of a Satoshi move. So he did this open source code based. He kind of laid the tech out, and he just gave it away and stepped back. And which is pretty cool. It's source code; everybody can build on it. And some people think, okay, we really need that, central social media, and are people really going to use it? And just be honest, Nostr is just, a lot of Bitcoiners in a small echo chamber. It's not very, very much adopted yet. And it's a very few people that are on there. And it's limited, like sharing videos and sharing photos and setting up a profile picture, all of these things, they're kind of difficult or clunky. But, and here comes the big but, this technology is so revolutionary because I saw a presentation of a guy that built a decentralized marketplace, fully peer-to-peer, no hosting anywhere. Like there were some websites like the Silk Road. Of course, everybody knows that. But the problem with these websites is they get set up in Tongo or in some kind of weird jurisdiction. And in the end, if you get big enough, they will go and get you and will shut you down. This is what happened to all the streaming services, to all these truck sites, and so on. But with this tech, actually, just a week or 2 weeks ago, they completely solved the issue of a decentralized marketplace that is impossible to shut down. And this makes me very bullish on humankind, and on this tech, because you can do anything. It's not just a decentralized marketplace. You can set up file sharing systems. You can set up a marketplace where you can buy and sell things like illegal books. I don't want to go into what other possibilities that this can give, but this is truly groundbreaking in my opinion. And there is no token or anything involved. It's just pure tech. It's just peer-to-peer relays, nodes. Yeah, this makes me super excited. This is why I joined the space. Just wanted to bring that up.
Cool. Anything else? Otherwise, we finish with what's happening on Cake side. I think two things. We listed Solana for staking just today, so check this out. Really nice. There's gonna be some really cool promotions coming up on that as well. So you want to get involved. If you have Sol, stake it with us. If you know the Sol community well, share the good word with them. On the other hand, you're going to be getting some additional vault options, especially for coins that then generate even higher yield than what we have right now. So that's also going to be quite good. I hope we can launch it this week. I mean, that's at least the target. We wanted to get it out last week, but then with the long weekends and everything, there's always something coming in between. Yeah, so check this out. I think this is quite exciting. Is there anything else from your side that you feel we need to kind of discuss or announce or talk about?
Just maybe on the point of us bringing Solana to Cake DeFi. I saw some comments, of course, like as always, as everybody that has been with us for quite a while, we usually need 10 to 30 minutes for product launches because some of you can't wait. And like the first minute that we launch the product, everybody, like a lot of people are all over the place. It took us like 20 minutes for everything that working perfectly. Like the first few people within the first few minutes, they had no available deposit addresses. So just as always, give us like 15 minutes or 20 minutes to actually launch something. But now everything's working, everything's fine. First deposits are coming in. And one other thing I would like to address is every time we're bringing a new coin or a new token to Cake DeFi, there is some people that are super excited and some people that are frustrated or angry because we added the wrong token or the wrong coin in their opinion. And it's we cannot please all the people all the time, but we try to really we ask in our VIP chats, we send out surveys and we ask you guys, hey, what kind of tokens do you want? If you feel frustrated that the token that you want to get listed is not there, please participate in those surveys. Please join us on Telegram and on Reddit and fill in those surveys. We are going with what our community likes, what our community wants. We have some plans for the later part of this year, I think during the summer, maybe even during the summer, but for sure for the later part of the year to add other coins and other tokens. And of course, we're going by market cap and by how much people are interested in these tokens. So if you have feedback, post it on Twitter underneath this conversation. Come on to Telegram, tell us there. We're on Reddit.
Yep, it's really nice. Yeah, thanks for the reminder there. So that's really good. Anything else? I think not. I'm just thinking of if we went through everything that we had planned on discussing, but I think so. It's just a bit shorter today. We don't have much else. Yeah, with that, thanks everyone. Really much appreciated. Check everything out we have. Go to cakedefi.com and have a look. Get yield on your crypto. Let us help you take control of your financial destiny. And with that, click subscribe, click like, retweet, share, and then we'll see you next time. Fabio, thanks so much. Very much appreciated. Everyone, stay safe out there. And let's see what the week will bring. I'm about, I think, 25 basis points. Fabio, what's your prediction for tomorrow?
Definitely 25 basis points.
Cool. Great. With that, everyone, stay safe. See you next time. All the best. Thank you so much. Bye.
Bye-bye.